All right, today we're logging into one of the biggest, no, the biggest action fantasy story on the planet right now. We're talking about Solo Leveling, the ultimate tale of the world's weakest hero becoming its absolute greatest champion.
You know, it's kind of wild to think this all started as a South Korean web novel, but now it has absolutely exploded into a global phenomenon. I mean, it went from a digital page to a full-blown multimedia empire. So let's get into how Solo Leveling became a household name for anyone who loves action, fantasy, and of course, some seriously awesome power-ups.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll break down the world it's set in, follow the journey of its unforgettable hero, unpack the huge cosmic war at the heart of it all, and finally, see how this story itself literally leveled up into a massive franchise.
Okay, first things first, to really get the hype, you have to understand the world of Solo Leveling. And let me tell you, it's a world that was turned completely upside down about 10 years ago.
So picture our world, right? But with one terrifying twist. Out of nowhere, these mysterious portals start popping up, and they're gateways to dungeons, just packed with monsters. To fight back, some people started to awaken with these incredible supernatural abilities. They became what's known as hunters. The only thing standing between us and, well, total annihilation.
And in this world filled with what are basically super-powered, godlike heroes, our story starts with the one guy at the absolute bottom of the barrel.
And look, the power gap we're talking about here is just staggering. On one end, you've got your S ranks. These guys are basically walking natural disasters. And then, way down on the other end, you have our guy, Sung Jin-woo. He's an E rank. He is so ridiculously weak that he's earned this humiliating nickname, the world's weakest hunter. For him, every single dungeon raid is a life-or-death situation.
So you gotta ask, right? Why does he do it? Why would anyone risk their life over and over when they're so completely outmatched? Well, it all comes down to his family. His younger sister, Jaina, she depends on him. And his mother, she's trapped in this mysterious, magic-induced coma called eternal sleep. The hospital bills are insane, so Jin-woo has literally no other choice but to keep running into those dungeons. But this whole life of just constant failure and getting beaten up is about to change. And it's all thanks to one fateful, absolutely horrifying raid. So, Jin-woo and his team, they stumble into this hidden area, what they call a double dungeon. Turns out it's a terrifying trap, and it just massacres almost everyone. As Jin-woo is lying there, bleeding out, pretty much accepting that this is the end, something completely impossible happens.
A screen just appears in front of his face, and only he can see it. It calls itself the system, and it calls him a player. And get this, it offers him a second chance. A totally unique power that no other hunter in the world has. The ability to level up just like you would in a video game. And honestly, this is the core of why people love this story so much. It's this clear path to power where all your hard work pays off, like instantly.
So how does it work? Well, the system gives him daily training quests he has to complete. It throws him into these deadly instant dungeons, and for doing all this, he rewards him with stat points and new skills. Now, here's the real game changer. Other hunters? Their power is totally fixed the moment they awaken. But Jin-woo, his potential is now completely, utterly limitless.
And pretty soon, he unlocks what is probably his most iconic skill, Shadow Extraction. With just one single, chilling command, Arise, he can literally pull the spirits of his defeated enemies out of their corpses and turn them into his own absolutely loyal army of shadow soldiers. How cool is that? But you know, Jin-woo's quest for power, it quickly becomes about so much more than just his own survival. He starts to figure out that he's actually a key player in this ancient cosmic war that's been raging for eons. Okay, so on one side of this war, you've got the Monarchs. Think of them as this ancient race of super powerful monsters. They're the ones behind all the creatures pouring out of the dungeons. And their goal? It's simple and it's terrifying. The complete and total annihilation of humanity. And who's fighting them? Well, they're called the Rulers. These are these kind of angel-like beings, and their goal is to protect humanity. But they're not exactly pure good guys. They are more than willing to make huge sacrifices and use some pretty morally questionable tactics to win their war. They've even chosen certain powerful humans on Earth to act as their vessels. So as Jin-woo keeps leveling up, he starts to realize that his totally unique powers are deeply,
deeply connected to this whole conflict. Yeah, he's not just some random hunter anymore. He's on a path to uncover the truth behind the system itself and his own destiny as the legendary Shadow Monarch.
So, yeah, the story is absolutely epic, right? But what's almost just as impressive is how this one story exploded from a novel into a full-blown media empire. It's really something else.
I mean, the growth of this franchise has just been explosive. It all started with the web novel back in 2016, but then it really took off in 2018 with the webtoon adaptation. That became a massive, massive hit, mostly thanks to the absolutely breathtaking art by the late, great Dubu. Flash forward to 2024, and the series hits a whole new peak with a blockbuster anime from A1 Pictures and a super popular action RPG game.
And hey, if you think the story just ends there, think again. The world is already expanding. There's an official sequel series out called Solo Leveling Ragnarok, and it's already launched as both a new web novel and a webtoon. So this incredible story, which all started with the weakest hunter you could possibly imagine, is still growing. Still leveling up even now. Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. In a world that's all about limitless potential, just how high can one hero truly climb?